Come on, do it.
We dare you.
How do you recover from realizing that the only man you've ever loved noticed you because he wants your sister? I didn't just fall in love with him, I built my world around him. I defended him when people laughed at him. I chose him when nobody else even looked at him twice. So tell me how to recover from this level of betrayal, because I am beyond broken. There's a certain kind of person people ignore without even realizing it. Not because they're bad, not because they're rude, but because they don't demand attention. That was Daniel. If you passed him on campus, you wouldn't look twice. Simple clothes, quiet steps, no presence that forced itself into your space. People had already decided who he was without ever speaking to him. Broke, average, not worth noticing. And the sad part? Nobody questioned it, except me. The first time Daniel spoke to me, he didn't try to impress me. He didn't act like he needed validation. He just talked. Calm, direct, real. And that caught me off guard, because I was used to people performing, trying too hard, saying things they didn't mean. But Daniel, he was effortless, and that made him dangerous, because I didn't realize when I started getting attached. It wasn't instant. There was no dramatic beginning, just moments. Moments that stacked quietly until they became something heavy. Like the time I was stressed before a test, and he didn't try to motivate me. He just sat beside me in silence until I calmed down. Or the time I forgot to eat, and he showed up with food, not saying much, just placing it in front of me like it was nothing. It wasn't grand, but it was consistent. And consistency is what made me believe him. If love had a warning sign, I missed it, because it didn't come loudly. It came disguised as curiosity. Your sister seems interesting. What kind of person is she? At first, I answered casually. Why wouldn't I? Vanessa was my sister. Talking about her felt normal, safe. But then, the questions didn't stop. They evolved, became more specific, more intentional. And slowly, something started to feel off. There's always a moment when your heart notices something your mind hasn't accepted yet. Mine came quietly. We were sitting together, and I was talking, actually talking, explaining something I was excited about. And Daniel was nodding, but he wasn't listening. Because behind me, Vanessa was walking past, and his eyes followed her like I wasn't even there. I stopped talking. He didn't notice. That silence, that was the first crack. I wish I could say I confronted him immediately. I wish I could say I demanded answers, but I didn't. Because the truth came in a way that didn't leave room for questions. It was final, clear, undeniable. I heard my name, so I paused. Not because I was suspicious, but because I was curious. Then someone asked him, "Do you even like her like that?" And Daniel didn't hesitate, not even for a second. Her? He laughed, not softly, not awkwardly, but like the answer was obvious. I'm just using her. She's my only way to get close to her sister. That moment didn't feel real, because pain like that doesn't hit immediately. It delays. It settles in slowly, like something sinking deep inside you. I didn't cry. That's what surprised me the most. No tears, no drama, no confrontation, just quiet. A kind of quiet that feels heavier than any reaction. Because suddenly, everything made sense. Every coincidence, every question, Every moment he seemed distracted. I wasn't special. I was convenient. I didn't leave immediately. I stayed, but not the same way. I became distant without announcing it, pulled back without explaining it, and that confused him, because for the first time, I wasn't easy anymore. But he didn't chase me, not really, because his focus had already shifted. Daniel approached Vanessa with confidence, the kind of confidence that comes from believing you figured everything out. But Vanessa, she didn't even try to understand him. She judged him instantly. You? That one word carried everything. Disbelief, dismissal, rejection. You're not my type. And when he tried to speak, she cut him off. I don't date broke guys. No hesitation, no second thought, just rejection. What Vanessa said that day, it stayed with Daniel longer than he expected. Not because it hurt his pride, but because it confirmed something he had always suspected. People didn't reject him for who he was. They rejected him for what they thought he was. Because the truth was, Daniel wasn't poor, not even close. Daniel Adeyemi wasn't just another student trying to survive campus life. He was the only son of Chief Adeyemi, a name that carried weight far beyond the university walls. His father owned companies people only talked about in the news: real estate, oil, imports, politics. The kind of wealth that didn't need to be announced because everyone important already knew. But Daniel chose to hide it. He had grown up surrounded by people who never saw him, only his name, his money, his background. Friendships felt like transactions, relationships felt like negotiations. So when he got into university, he made a decision, a quiet one. He would come in as nobody. No driver, no luxury car, no expensive clothes, just Daniel, to see who would stay when there was nothing to gain. While everyone thought he was struggling, Daniel was watching, observing, learning how people behaved when status was removed. He paid attention to who ignored him, who mocked him, who treated him like he didn't matter, and more importantly, who didn't. And the funny thing was, the one person who treated him like he mattered, who sat with him, who spoke to him normally, who cared without asking questions, was the one person he never truly saw: you. Vanessa's words didn't just reject him, they exposed everything. You're broke, you're not my standard. That sentence replayed in his head over and over again, not because it hurt, but because it was predictable. Too predictable. And for the first time, Daniel was tired of pretending. A few days later, everything changed. Daniel didn't show up to campus the way he used to. No more worn-out clothes, no more quiet presence. The next time people saw him, they didn't recognize him immediately. A sleek black car pulled up near the faculty building, not the kind students used, the kind that turned heads without trying. The door opened, and Daniel stepped out, clean, composed, different. Same face, but a completely different presence. Students paused. Whispers started. Is that Daniel? No way! And just like that, the truth spread faster than he could ever explain it. Vanessa didn't believe it at first. She laughed it off, until she saw it herself. The car, the way people suddenly treated him, the way even lecturers spoke to him differently. And then it hit her. The same guy she dismissed was the one everyone was now paying attention to. It wasn't love, it was realization. Sharp, sudden, uncomfortable. She replayed their interaction in her head, every word she said, every look she gave him, and for the first time, she wished she could take it back. She approached him again, this time softer, careful, trying to sound different. Daniel, can we talk? But Daniel didn't respond the same way anymore. No hesitation,
no nervous energy, just calm distance. Because now he knew exactly what her attention was worth. And that's when it finally clicked. Not when she rejected him, not when she found out the truth, but when he looked back and realized who had been there all along. You, the one who didn't ask questions, the one who didn't calculate value, the one who stayed when he had nothing to offer. So he came back, not as the boy who was unsure, not as the boy chasing someone else, but as someone who finally understood what he lost. Because love doesn't just disappear, it transforms, and sometimes it transforms into clarity. I didn't hate him. I didn't need revenge. I just stopped choosing him and started choosing myself. And someone else chose me too, without confusion, without conditions, without needing a reason. He spent so much time chasing someone who didn't want him that he lost the only person who ever did. And by the time he realized it, I was no longer waiting.